Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we'll talk about a book called Nationalism from Rabindranath Tagore. So this was not written as a book, but these were the speeches that he gave in the early 20th century. These speeches he gave in Japan, India and Europe. So it became Nationalism in Japan, Nationalism in India and Nationalism in Europe. So these are the three parts that this book is divided in. So I really loved this book. This is a unique combination of poetry and rational thinking. So I thought why not put together 10 quotes from this book. So here we go. So speaking about the civilizations, he said, you must keep in mind that this political civilization, this creed of national patriotism has not been given a long trial. The lamp of ancient Greece is extinct in the land where it was first lighted. The power of Rome lies dead and buried under the ruins of his vast empire. But the civilization whose basis is society and the spiritual ideal of man is still a living thing in China and in India. On ultranationalism, when this organization of politics and commerce, whose other name is the nation, becomes all-powerful at the cost of harmony of the higher social life, then it is an evil day for humanity. When a father becomes a gambler and his obligations to his family take the second place in his mind, then he is no longer a man but an automation led by the power of greed. It is the same with society. When it allows itself to be turned into a perfect organization of power, then there are few crimes which it is unable to perpetrate. I am not against one nation in particular, but against the general idea of all nations. What is a nation? It is the aspect of a whole people as an organized power. This organization incessantly keeps up the insistence of population on becoming strong and efficient. But this strenuous effort after strength and efficiency drains man's energy from his higher nature, where he is self-sacrificing and creative. Man is diverted from his ultimate objective, which is moral, to the maintenance of this organization, which is mechanical. On European attraction of Indian people, true modernism is freedom of mind, not slavery of taste. It is independence of thought and action, not tutelage under European schoolmasters. A man, when he is at his greatest, is the most unconscious. Again on European attraction and how attractive they seem to Indians at that time. In man's history, there comes ages of fireworks which dazzle us by their force and movement. They laugh not only at our modest household lamps but also at the eternal stars. But let us not dismiss our lamps by that provocation. Let us patiently bear out present insult and realize that these fireworks have splendor but not permanence, because of their extreme explosiveness, which is the case of their power and also of their exhaustion. On morality, the history has come to a stage where the moral man, the complete man, is more and more giving way, almost without knowing it, to make room for the political and commercial man, the man of limited funds. Continuing on morality, thus man with his mental and material power far outgrowing his moral strength is like an exaggerated giraffe whose head has suddenly shot up miles away from the rest of him, making normal communication difficult to establish. This greedy head, with its huge dental organization, has been munching all the topmost foliage of the world, but the nourishment is too late in reaching his digestive organs, and his heart is suffering from want of blood. The moral law, which is the greatest discovery of man, is the discovery of this wonderful truth that man becomes all the truer the more he realizes himself in others. And nations who carefully cultivate moral blindness as the cult of patriotism will end their existence in a sudden and violent death. Speaking about the future, he said, we must not destroy our children's mind with the superstition that business is business, war is war, and politics is politics. We must know that man's business has to be more than the mere business, and so should be his war and politics. I will persist in believing that there is such a thing as the harmony of completeness in humanity, where poverty does not take away his riches, where defeat may lead him to victory, death to immortality, and where in the compensation of eternal justice, those who are last may yet have their insult transmuted into a golden triumph. So that is the video guys. Thanks for watching and subscribe the channel for similar content.